Well, hello everybody. My name is Jeff Street. I teach people how to make money from home online, and as 2020 comes to an end and as 2021 comes upon us in the next 27 and a half hours, I want to talk to you about how to go out and set and hit goals for yourself for 2021. I want to go out and help you, be able to have an incredible year, in 2021. But it starts with what you're doing right now. So you understand, just because the calendar changes doesn't mean that your circumstances change. And I know so many people are just ready for 2020 to be over, ready for 2021 to start. But remember, just like I said a minute ago, just because the calendar changes doesn't mean your circumstances changes. So it's all about, what are you going to go out and do to create those changes? And when it comes to goal setting, I'll never forget 14, 15 years ago, spending New Year's Eve with my mentors, Patrick and Mike Mazer, and they talked to me about goals. And I remember at the end of the night, and I wasn't drinking, just so everybody knows, but at the end of the night, Mike actually gave me the keys to their SL 550 hardtop convertible and said, take this for the rest of the night. Bring it back to us in a couple days, but I want you to see your future. And I'll never forget driving around in downtown Philadelphia with the top down on New Year's Eve, freezing out with the heat cranking. I'd never driven a car like that in my entire life, but there I was, literally visualizing my future. And there's so much power in seeing where you're going. Now, what do I drive today? SL 550 hardtop convertible. Coincidence? No. It was, I sat in it, I drove it. It became my vision of what my reality was. And when you see something, you believe it. Now, goals are not just about mere materialistic things. Most of my goals are actually not about materialistic things, but that was just one example. But here was the biggest power of that evening. The next morning, I wrote down a list of 50 plus goals. And I typed them out and I emailed them to my mentors, Patrick and Mike Mazer, and I knew that I needed somebody to hold me accountable for my goals. And I didn't write just what I wanted. I also wrote down in the goals the action steps of what I was going to commit to daily to make those goals happen. See, I set the goals and then I worked backwards on what I was going to need to do. How many prospects was I going to need to talk to daily? How many presentations was I going to be doing? How many customers was I going to acquire? And so I put my action steps and then I wrote down my goals. And there was 55 things that I wrote down on that list. And I actually took my goal list, printed it out, and I thumbtacked it in my bedroom wall. I thumbtacked it right next to my light switch. So every morning when I turned on my light, the first thing I saw was my goals. Every night when I turned off my light, the last thing that I saw was my goals. I made sure that I saw it all the time, that it was right in front of me. So you got to keep your goals right in front of you. Number one, again, you got to write them down, not just your goals, but again, what are you going to do to get there? What are going to be your action steps daily? Include that in your goal list. Number two, send them to somebody that can hold you accountable. Again, accountability is so important. But I'll tell you what the biggest thing is. The biggest thing about goal setting is when you believe, you will achieve. So you got to believe without one shadow of a doubt. You got to have 100% certainty that you're going to hit those goals. You got to visualize it every day. You got to see it happening. 1% doubt and you're out. And every time I set a goal that I believed with everything I had inside of me that I was going to hit, I made it happen. And I was watching earlier on today, or was listening to something, and it was talking about Star Wars. I was a big Star Wars fan growing up, and it was talking about this scene in The Empire Strikes Back, I believe it was, where Luke Skywalker was there with his mentor Yoda in the swamp. And Luke's plane had landed in the swamp. And Yoda was teaching Luke how to use the Force, and he said, listen, you're going to lift this plane up with your mind. And Luke, was trying, almost had it up, and then it fell. And then Yoda, got fed up. He's like, I'm just going to do this myself. Like, sometimes mentors be like, I just got this. I got this for you. Let me show you how it's done. And Yoda uses the Force, and he lifts the plane out of the swamp, and he lifts it to where it needs to be. And Luke was like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. And here's what Yoda said. And that's exactly why you failed. Because you can't believe it. See, once you believe it, you will achieve it. So when you're setting your goals for 2021, everybody should have reflection time today, tomorrow. Everybody should write their goals down. Go over your goals with your family. Have it somewhere where you see it every day. Get it to somebody, give it to somebody that's going to hold you accountable. But again, when you write them down, make sure you believe you're going to hit them. Because if you believe it, you're going to achieve it. I hope everybody has an incredible 2021. And remember, just because the calendar changes doesn't mean your circumstances changes. You got to be the one that changes to create those changes. So guys, hit the share button if you believe that somebody else can go out and get value out of tonight's message, and drop a comment that says 2021. Drop a comment that says the year I changed. Drop a comment that says 2021. Drop a comment that says the year that I changed. And again, my name is Jeff Street. I teach people how to make money from home online. God bless everybody. Happy New Year in advance. Set some goals. Let's bring 2021 in like you've never brought in a year before. I believe in you. You got to believe in you. Have a great night. God bless, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.